He brought up a good point. Now, I'm saying this in the confines of people not even knowing your music. If you have radio hits, I don't care what the BPMs is it. That's the song everyone's coming in to hear. So you could be playing a song that's 75 BPMs, but if it's a #1 radio single, it doesn't matter. That's the song everybody came to rock to. So there is exceptions. Those guys, the Jay-Z's and all these guys, they live outside of those rules that we're saying because they already have a #1 hit. They don't even have to have a good show.
Yeah, that's true.
They don't even have to have a good show, literally. Because if you watch most of those dudes, they're just like,
Walking around.
Jay-Z has one of the worst live shows ever. If he was by himself, because he's just going, okay? We, on the other hand, don't have those benefits. So we have to take a different route to make the crowd get into it. I'm going to move into the next track. Here's the next one. Okay. Tempo-wise, what do you guys think that was at?
We'll go with 95 again.
He's saying 95? 97? He said 100? 105? This is why I did this. I'm going to prove a different point that you may not have realized. That is actually just as fast as the last beat.
100? Depends on what you're doing, though.
Here's why that feels slower or faster. Because it's a different feel behind the track. Notice this is a very live feeling sound. Very laid back groove. Okay? Whereas the music of this track, you know what I'm saying? They're the exact same tempo.
I don't think you should make that face.
I'm sorry, I got a little too into it. I did that for a reason to prove sometimes you can have something that is at the right tempo, but the feel of the beat makes it feel slow or makes it feel fast. So sometimes you can do tracks that are mid-90s, but the feel of the beat feels faster because it's got a lot of energy into it. That's the other thing we have to factor into, the feel of the song. Tempo does play into it, but the feel is a big difference. And this is the last one I'm going to play. You guys take a stab at this one. What do you guys think that speed is?
120 again.
120?
115.
You're like a human metronome. You've gotten 4 right. It's exactly 115. That's.
Oh, I don't even make beats.
They don't even make beats.
You know,
Man, you took mine. I said 115 last time. That
The point, here's another thing to get, that's really fast. That's pretty fast to rap to. That's almost like a house music, you know what I mean, speed.
like, have you ever heard that song?
Oh yeah.
It doesn't like really rap.
Yeah.
It depends like if someone knows.
But here's the keep in mind too. We can go so fast that certain crowds can't keep up with us. Okay? Now, I talked about this about a month or two ago when I talked about producing and the beats that you make and the way they vibe with certain cultures. For lack of a better term, white people move from here up. Okay, do you see what I'm getting at? The way that white people vibe to music is literally just from here up. Why? When you think of rock music, how do most rock people get into rock music? They slam, they move their arms, but there's not much going on down here, okay? Okay? Whereas other cultures that are, you know, that are based on rhythm-based cultures like, you know, Latino, Hispanic, African American, it's a full body vibe. You see what I'm saying? So if you're going to go and play for a certain group and the track is too slow and all they know how to do is move from here up, keep that in mind. And this can even apply to, let's say you're going to rap like on a Sunday morning where everyone's used to this. And you're like, get up, y'all, get up. You see what I'm saying? They can't get up. They're not used to it. You see what I'm saying in that form. So bear in mind your tempo should coincide with your show, okay? So, and keep in mind too, if you're used to rapping on this, and suddenly now you're giving that person that's used to rapping on the slow beats is going to struggle on those fast beats. And the person that is used to the fast beats is going to struggle on the slow beats. So the key to having a good show is finding out what works for you, finding out what works with your crowd, finding out what works in your target audience. These are all things to consider. Okay? This is really how you pick your songs. You see what I'm saying? To have your most effective show, you have to factor all these things in and go, okay, what song is going to work best with our audience? You see what I'm saying? Okay, so that's just understanding some things like that. A couple things I'm going to run through real quick. As a general rule, these are just 6 tips to keep in mind. This is just what I've learned just from rocking shows. 6 things. Number 1, your hooks that you do on your record are not necessarily the way you need to do them live. Okay, a hook that works live may not work on your record. In other words, live we want to do throw your hands up, everybody in the place, throw your hands up. Now on record you're like, why is he telling me to throw my hands up? I'm driving my car right now. I can't throw my hands up. I'm gonna crash my car. Okay, whereas on your record, you're like, bump, you know what I mean? You may want to switch it up just a little bit. Most of my songs that I do live are a slight variation of what I do on the record. Because it's interactive. I do that. Like, I have a song called Do Your Thing. If I just sat there during the whole song going, woo, everybody just do your thing, come on. They'd be like, why does this guy keep repeating the same thing over and over and over? You know what I mean? That works good on record because it makes it catchy, but live it makes me look like I don't have anything else to say except do your thing, just do your thing. So what I do live is everybody say, woo, woo. Why? Because everybody can do that. See what I'm saying? I switched it up to make it work live. Second thing to keep in mind, as a general rule, keep your show up tempo. Keep it fast. Not fast like, you know, house music fast, but keep it up tempo. Keep the feel like you're ready to get down. Do you come to a show? Most people don't come to a show to listen. People come to a show to get down. So make your tracks reflect that. Make it to where they can get down. In other words, you're doing all your weighty, deep, dark songs that are like all lyrical and all this stuff, and it was like, I don't really even care what you have to say. Can you please make me move? That's all I came to your show for. Okay? That's another thing to keep in mind. If you do have a song that's slow and you want to do it, maybe it's like a ministry song, got some seriousness to it, just do that as your last song. Make them walk out remembering the lyrics that you had to say. But don't put that song in the beginning of the show where people want to get down. If you've earned the right by rocking the crowd, then you've earned the right to say what you have to say.
Basically,
go ahead.
Like controlling the crowd and seeing moving crowd.
Exactly.
What about like putting it in the middle too? It's kind of like a break and then like.
As a general rule, I've found over the last 7-8 years of performing, honestly, if you throw kind of a slower song or a more serious song in the middle of the show, it makes it a little tougher to bring the crowd back after you've done that. So if you got the crowd rocking, then you're like, yeah, I want to kick something to y'all. And you bring this slow song in there, and you were just killing it 3 songs ago, and now they're like, oh, maybe I am a sinner. Maybe I do need to get saved. And now you're like, all right, everybody, let's get down. You know what I mean? They're like, I don't really want to get down now. I'm going to hell. You know what I mean? So as a general rule, I usually say, even if you want to just maybe start winding your show down, you know what I mean? You might want to start super high energy at the beginning. You're starting to get mid-tempo by the middle of the show. And by the time you get to the end of the show, break it down and tell them something. You know what I mean? But get it to that point first. We as MCs, we want to say what we want to say all the time. Because that's why we're MCs. MC means master of ceremonies. That's what these guys used to do. They rocked the crowd. It was the DJ that kept the music going, but the MC was the one who got up there and made the crowd move. You know what I mean? Kept the party going is what he did. So your job is to keep the party going. And if you got something to say, after you've kept the party going, then say what you got to say. Okay? That even applies to like if you're going to do an altar call or you're going to preach. Okay? A lot of times we want to turn it into a 10-point sermon on every song. You know what I mean? And this is I'm not trying to dog anybody out for ministry. I believe we should minister. But when your ministry starts taking away from the other aspect, think about it this way. When Jesus began to share and he used a parable, what did he do? He was entertaining. He used that. He always just told the story first. He entertained you. He rocked the crowd first. He didn't say, by the way, what I'm trying to tell you is this. You do not need to do blah, 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 blah. And now let me tell you a story to illustrate it. No, he went the other way around. What did he do first? He told this story. I was like, oh, he's telling this story. I want to hear this story. He's going to tell me. What's he going to tell me? Okay, really? Oh, that's a great story. He didn't even say any spiritual truth. He's like, oh, that's not like when he tells that story. That's the story. That's my favorite one. Do you like that one? Oh, and by the way, this is what it means.